Hello. Today is Thursday of the third week of Easter. We have a great reading today. We have great readings today. But when I sit down and look at them, it occurs to me that we as a staff have now been doing these YouTube reflections for at least a little over a year, because I'm confident that I remember doing this one last year. And it's kind of a cool opportunity to one of the things I love about reading scripture is that there's always something different that grabs my attention, but it also allows me to think of where I would have been this time last year. And in our first reading, which is where I'm really drawn, we have the Ethiopian eunuch who's on his way home, and we have this image of him reading scripture, and Philip is moved by the Spirit to go. The Spirit calls him to go to the chariot where this eunuch is, and he sees him reading, and he says, "Do you understand what you're reading?" And he says, "How can I understand if there's no one here to instruct me?" And so they talk about it, and then he wants to be baptized, and Philip baptizes him, and then he goes off to preach the good word, and it's great. But I think of this time last year, my kids and I are home, and my kids are in Catholic school, and they have these assignments, and I think in the past they would have come home, and there's a small window between time for homework and before they might be going out to soccer or hockey and what have you, and we got to get dinner, and we got bedtime and all that kind of stuff. So it would have been overlooked. Whereas now, at that time, I'm home, and I'm hearing the assignments, and I'm seeing and I'm recognizing how much of what they have to do, especially for religion homework or class, is kind of just learning something to recite back. It's and I can hear our first reading and Philip's question, which is, he says, "Do you understand what you are reading?" And the eunuch has this moment of honesty. How can I, unless someone instructs me? That my kids were just memorizing things to recite, and I had the good fortune of being home and being present and saying, like, "Hey, does this mean anything to you? Like, what do you think they're trying to? Why do you think you're learning this?" And it led to some interesting conversations that I imagine there are others watching this today who, I think there's a lot of negativity around the last year of, like, oh my God, it's this hardship we've all endured, and I don't mean to minimize that. I know it's been hard, but there were some unique opportunities as well, and this was one of them for me, was I got to participate in these conversations in a way that I don't always get to. But today, looking back, I can see that experience, and I can see today's first reading, and I can be reminded. I think what I feel called to is to say, do you understand what you're reading? Do you understand what you're saying? Do you understand that I know one of the things that I love about our parish, that when I first started working here, it took me nearly 6 months to slow down enough and say the Our Father in sync with all of you. It's just, there's a speed here that's a lot slower, and it's funny. It's one of those things, when you go that slow, it forces me to become more aware of what I'm saying. And what I'm saying, there are places to say, and now we have the courage to say. It takes courage to say those things if you're willing to do those things. And we're people who, to claim our faith isn't just to say it out loud, but to act it and live it in our lives. And, so for me today, that the big opportunity is to say, what are the things in my life that maybe it's not that I don't understand them, it's that I'm at a place where I'm going through the motions, even if it's here in our house of worship, what are the prayers that I'm reciting without really paying attention to and being fully present to and accountable to. So I think it's a unique opportunity we all have. I hope, as always, I end the same way. I hope you're all safe and doing well, and I hope that as the weather gets warmer and more people are vaccinated, I hope to see more and more of you. It always makes me smile to see somebody walk through the gathering space and give me a wave, and they're people who I know I really don't know, but it's probably from these reflections where there's a sense of we know kind of who one another are, or you know me, and I love that because there are certainly parts of our parish that I'm in youth ministry, but it's nice to feel more connected to the larger parish at times. So I hope you are well, and I will hopefully see you more and more of you soon.